This is the story of the Suffolk Strangler. Steve Wright. Steve, just a normal bloke. No harm to anyone. Normal bloke who just drives a forklift truck. Normal family man, you'd think. But Steve had this hidden evil side, and he went on to kill 5 prostitutes, most of them young women, over a 6-week frenzied period. Steve rented a flat which happened to be in the red light district, though at the time he said to police he wasn't aware this was the red light district. This wasn't a premeditated house move. Well, obviously it was. He was well known in the red light district for crawling through the streets in his car. There would be 30 to 40 women standing there prostituting, trying to earn money either to feed their families or themselves, or sadly some of them had drug habits or were homeless. Steve had not lived there very long when his first victim, Tanya Nicole, went missing on a cold winter's night on the 30th of October in 2006. So police were frantically trying to find out who this murderer was. They had a serial killer on their hands. 5 young women had been killed. Prostitutes working on the streets. They were terrified, but they still had to go out. They still had to get their money for food, their families, or for their drug habits. They looked out for each other, but how would they know? How would you know that the car that you were getting into on those cold winter's nights would be the last car that you would be getting into alive? After all, when they found out who the murderer was, he was described by police as a nice average guy. His life revolved around the local pub and the golf course. There was nothing that stood out that screamed, I'm a serial killer. Thankfully, science has advanced, even in 2006, and the collection of DNA would enable them to go on to find out that Steve, this normal average Steve, was the serial killer. Thankfully, but stupidly, he didn't care about leaving his DNA on his victims' bodies. He had already previously had been arrested and his DNA had been collected, so it was already on police file. Steve Wright went on to admit in court that he had been paying prostitutes and seeing them for over 25 years. So what led him to suddenly decide that he was going to murder them? He used to work on cruise ships, and that's when he first started paying to see them. He said while working on his ships, he had met his first wife at the time, but it was common for the men, even if they were married, and they stopped off at a port, go and visit a massage parlour or a prostitute. He said he was very happy with his wife, but that didn't stop him from wanting to visit sex workers. Pamela, his wife, began working overnight at a call centre, and that's when he said his love life became almost non-existent. He slept with 12 prostitutes after their move to the flat in London Road. I still don't think we will ever find out why it escalated from seeing them for bedroom activities to murdering them. He murdered Tanya Nicole, Gemma Adams, Anelia Alderton, Annette Nicholas, and Paula Clonell. 24-year-old Paula was his last victim, and she went missing on the 10th of December. So he still offers no reasoning as to why he went on to commit these heinous crimes, to commit crimes of the same or similar nature. It was said by his brothers that they grew up in a very violent and misogynistic home. His father would often beat their mother and cheat on her mother and see other women. His father had been in the RAF and they had moved around quite a lot, and his mother had left the family home because of this violence that she was experiencing day to day, every single day, from his father. His father blames his mother for Wright being like this. He's saying that she abandoned him, but his mother says that she had to get away to save her own life, and that Steve was actually terrified of his own father. We still don't know why he committed these crimes. Could it be that he just didn't want to pay any longer? Was it the control? Was he suddenly losing his mind? Apparently in court he was very collected and calm, and again, an unassuming man. Let's send love out to all the victims and their families, and let's hope that one day he does confess why, and we can understand the minds of these killers better, and that we can prevent these awful crimes, who are mainly committed by men, happening over and over again. And I thank you for watching that video. If you enjoyed it, give us a like, a comment, and if you can join the channel, that'll be great.